Happy Wednesday, people. I'm dressed in my best coaching uniform because I want to talk today about getting coaching for your best people. The COVID-19 pandemic has really led to a lot of emotional distress in just about everyone. Nearly a third of all the people recently surveyed are suffering from depression. And so if you have people that are working remotely, odds are about 1 in 3 that they're suffering the symptoms of depression. And in case you don't know, the symptoms of depression for most people are a negative, pessimistic attitude, low energy, difficulty sleeping, difficulty paying attention, poor concentration, and changes in their diet or appetite. Some people gain weight, some people lose weight. Um, but those things are the characteristics of depression. The most important part for business people, though, is that the negative attitude and the low energy means that people are just much less productive when they're depressed. And so it's really important that if you have people, especially people working remotely now because of the COVID crisis, that you check in on them, that you ask them specifically about whether or not they're suffering from any of these symptoms, and if they are, then arrange for them to see your EAP person or refer them to a mental health professional for further evaluation. Depression is among the most treatable of all the emotional difficulties that we might experience, and so there's really no reason for people not to get help. They'll feel better, they'll sleep better, they'll have more energy, and they'll be more productive at work, especially working remotely. The other thing that's turning out to be a real risk for people who are working remotely is um, problem drinking among women is up 40%. The challenge for women working at home is most of them are all not only working but trying to take care of their children and their families. And the trip from the desk to the bar is, a few steps instead of 20 minutes. And so a lot of women are drinking too much and beginning to develop the difficulties associated with alcohol abuse. Um, for women, wine is particularly a risky proposition. Most women who have drinking problems have problems with drinking too much wine. And so you need to be paying attention if you're working from home about managing your wine intake, because it's very easy for people who are stressed out from COVID and from all the complications related to their businesses to experience difficulties from drinking too much wine. And finally, my sort of good news for the day is resiliency is a tool that can be acquired and is comprised of skills that can be learned. And I want to share with you a few of them today, so that if you're working from home, you have some ideas about things that you can do that are going to make your work life and your home life a little bit better. The first thing is that structure is really important in coping with stress, and that means having a regular schedule, getting up at the same day, having meals at about the same time, going to bed at about the same time, and sticking your routine no matter what. The more structure you have in your life, the more likely it is that you're going to bounce back from these stressful situations that we're all going through these days. So have a structure, have a schedule, and stick to it. The second thing is that it's really important to exercise, and so that means the research kind of says 30 minutes of walking every day, 7 minutes of high intensity training every day that you stick to no matter what. It doesn't have to be in the morning. It shouldn't be at night right before you go to bed, because exercise tends to rev up your engine, and so that'll make it harder for you to go to sleep. So it's better if you exercise in the morning or during the day sometime, maybe at lunch break. But 30 minutes of walking or 7 minutes of high intensity training or interval training can make a big difference in your emotional outlook as well as your productivity. The third thing is it's really important to reach out and maintain contact with your friends. One of the challenges for people who are working at home is that many of their important social relationships revolve around work. And if you don't run into these people in the hallway or on your way to lunch, then it's easy to become extremely isolated, and the effects of social isolation on people's physical and mental health have been established by the research The final segment of this short video is to encourage you, if you're the leader of an organization of any size, to pay attention to your people and make plans for helping them succeed in 2021. The challenge for 2021 is learning to adapt to the conditions that COVID-19 pandemic have imposed on us from the outside, and for adapting your organization to meet its goals despite the challenges of this health crisis. Normally that means that you have to give your people additional tools, and if you're talking about developing leaders, it's really important that they learn how to manage their own people, to build up resilience in themselves using the tools I just talked about, and finally developing a professional toolbox that includes the emotional intelligence tools they need in order to be successful. Normally that will mean that they're going to have time to spend with a mentor, and if many of your people are working remotely, some or all of the time, odds are that your opportunities to mentor them in the way that you have in the past have significantly diminished. And that means if you're not making time yourself to schedule time with your people to do Zoom calls that focus exclusively on mentoring them, that you need to consider hiring an outside coach. I've been coaching people in the legal field since 1984. I took a sabbatical from my litigation consulting practice in the early 90s and spent 4 years in the corporate legal department of Texas Instruments as their in-house strategy consultant and legal coach for the 100-person internal law firm at Texas Instruments. And during that time and the time after that, when I had a chance to coach executives from companies like the Cooper Clinic, the Blockbuster, Mattel, the VP of sales for Mattel to Walmart, and many others actually, it really gave me an opportunity to see what it's like to be a high-level executive in a large organization, and the pressures and demands that are placed on people for not only maintaining the business, but also for making sure that their people are developed. So I would encourage you that if your plans for 2021 don't include coaching for your high-performing people and giving them the tools they need to be successful, both professionally and as leaders and managers, that you will consider a coaching program. Coaching programs vary in length, intensity, and cost depending on your needs. And so please call me, 972-839-2394 for more information, or send me an email at carlson.kevin@gmail.com, or you can reach me through a message on LinkedIn or Facebook, and let me know what your needs are, and let's have a conversation, a Zoom conversation, about how we might be able to work together to develop a coaching program to make sure that your people have the support they need and get the professional development they need in order to continue to be successful. Hope you're having a happy Wednesday and a good first week back to work, and I look forward to talking to you more in 2021. Have a great day.